other half is here. So it must be bloody hot in here. Everything's old as shit. What the hell is this? What? Can I blow through this? I'm not feeling any suckage going on, and I'm not getting any blowing. It's literally kids walking past the front right now. Good morning, guys. It is the next video with the Reliant. In the last episode, you saw that we did get it running on brake cleaner. It's got spark, it turns over nice, everything seems good. One thing we thought might be the issue is it's not getting fuel. So I was running it on brake cleaner with the throttle wide open and it was running. So we know it's either something fuel related or carburetor related. I'm not fully sure how this carb works. The piston was going up and down on throttle, to be honest. So the piston is working. I just had to have it wide open throttle, but I know a lot of carb cars anyway, you've got to be wide open throttle to start it. So I actually think it's something fuel related. But what we're going to do is we're going to have a look, we're going to diagnose and go a bit further down the line today. So I'm going to take the fuel lines off and just see if it is actually getting fuel, first and foremost. And second of all, we're actually going to take the carb off and start rebuilding the carb as well, or depending on how long this video takes. Let's start the video and let's try and get this carb off. First of all, getting the fuel line off is going to be a bit difficult because it seems quite old. What we're going to do is we're going to take the carb off. We actually did get the car running by throwing some brake cleaner into the carb, so we know it's something fuel related. So we're going to take the carb off today, which doesn't seem too difficult, but I'm going to take some pictures. So we've got a breather hose here, which wasn't even attached, but I'm pretty sure it does go there. And you've got fuel line right at the back of the engine, which is this one here, that's going into the fuel chamber. And then you have a few cables here. So this one is the choke, that's the cable for the choke, and this is the cable for the throttle. So first of all, we need to get this fuel line off, and what that allows us to do as well is just check if there's any fuel that's been in that line since we've been trying to, since we've been cranking it. Is there any fuel in there, or is it bone dry? It could just be as little as the case as there isn't any fuel in the car, but I can't hear any fuel pump working, I can't hear anything, and I want to just rebuild the carb just for peace of mind anyway. So we're going to take the carb off, let's do that, and then we can jump along the lines of trying to figure out why it's not got any fuel. It could just be something simple as there's no fuel in the car, or it could be something like a fuel pump or the fuel pump filter, which looks like it's down here because you've got a fuel line which runs from the carb into this little dirty thing down here, just there. Let me point to it. This thing here, you've got a hard fuel line which goes into this bit, and then you've got the soft fuel line which comes out. So let's start taking the carburetor apart because I want to do this anyway. So first things first, when you're taking something apart, which is potentially tricky, is just to get photos of every angle possible, because it will help you so much when coming back to fit everything. Now, quite funnily, which I've not shown in the last video, so you've got half the engine here to work on, but if you come through here, right, the other half is here. So it must be bloody hot in here. Honestly, you've got literally the exhaust manifolds right there. We've actually got the back of the carburetor here as well, so we can oh, that's a vacuum line which isn't vacuuming. Interesting. We'll note that. We'll make note of that when we get it off. But for the time being, let's get it off. I do actually want to clean this up. I'm not going to lie, and then rebuild it all, to be honest. So let's get this carburetor off. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm going to say that at the start of every single video. Boost gauge. Is it a volt gauge? Oh no, where they actually come with volt gauges. But yeah, let's try and get this carburetor off today, and then see what we can do. Okay, so it looks like it bolts to the exhaust manifold, also the intake here. So we're going to take it off from the intake because this is the actual carburetor up here, but we've got them bolts well, you can't get them off, so we're going to take it off from these bolts here. So we're going to, there's two coolant hoses here, so let's take these two coolant hoses off. I can tell these haven't been off in that long because the hoses have actually started to rust around the rubber. So, and these are not easy to get off. They've definitely been on there a while, so I don't know when the last time this carb was took off and cleaned, but you can see just absolutely welded to each other, to be honest. Come on, there we go. Okay, there we go. Right, coolant lines are off. So I've googled fuel tank, a fuel pump, and it looks like it's that thing there. I thought it was a fuel filter, but I think that's the fuel pump. so it must be a mechanical fuel pump, so there's no wires going to it. So we're literally just going to bang some fuel in. Got some fuel in the shed, we're going to bang some fuel in, crank it and see if that makes any difference, because all I've done is just pulled off the coolant lines. I've not really touched anything else. So yeah, let's see if this works. Imagine if it works and it's just that. Hang on, that's with no throttle as well. Yeah. Shut up. Imagine if it was that. Right, I'm on full throttle and the choke's out as well. Unless that is just some of the brake cleaner that's been left off from earlier. Yeah, it's getting worse, isn't it? Yeah. Do you want to spray some brake cleaner on it?
Try it.
Yeah, it's something fuel, isn't it? I'm trying to get this damn fuel line off. It is spinning, but it's not even rubber anymore. It is literally plastic and it's cracking like plastic. So we're going to need a new fuel line, but I'd rather replace it anyway. But even just trying to get it off this damn nipple is a task in itself. And then once this is off, we can actually crank it with the fuel line off and see if fuel's actually getting out of there. Oh, that was a nightmare getting that off. Yeah, go on. What's in gear? Try it, look. It's just nothing coming through. Okay, so scrap taking the carburetor off. We will do that probably in the next video. But for this video, I'm going to dive down and see why it's not getting fuel. We're going to go down that route. I think first thing what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the fuel pump off and just have a look and see if there's anything visibly that's wrong. I'm guessing it's just ran off the engine and then that sucks the fuel through. I'm guessing that's how it works. There can't be two different pumps. I've looked online, I've typed in Reliant Rialto and Reliant Rialto fuel pump, and every single one is that one that attaches to the engine. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the fuel pump off and take it apart and just see if there's anything obvious what's going on. So to get to the fuel pump, we're going to take off all of the coils, and I'm just going to label up again. It doesn't necessarily matter which coil goes where, it just matters, you know, which order you put them from the distributor. But I'm going to keep them similar. So this is going to be number 4, and then we take the distributor off again, and then the fuel pump is right underneath where the distributor goes. So I've already took that off in the last episode, so I know how that works. So I'm just going to label up all these 1, 2, 3, and we got number 2 finally. Number two here, and then hopefully it's obvious, because if it isn't obvious, we're gonna have to just buy a new fuel pump and pray that that is the issue. So if you didn't watch the other episodes, there's an 11mm bolt, and that just holds on the distributor into the engine. So I'll take that 11mm bolt off and it will just pull out. Right, 11mm bolt is off, and then there is the distributor. Right, so now the distributor is off. The distributor sits on there. This is the fuel pump, or what I believe is the fuel pump. So holding the fuel pump on there are 1, 2, 3, 4, I think there's 5 Phillips screws. So let's get that fuel pump off and let's just see if there's even any fuel in there. And let's just see how dry it is, and this will be a good chance to actually get that line. If we need to change the line, because as you can see, look at this line that's just come off. It's absolutely, it's not even rubber anymore. It's just shocking. Like, look at it. So we need to change that line for 100%, 1,000,000% definitely for some fuel line. So let's try and get this fuel pump off. There's a few Phillips screws. Should be pretty simple. I can't believe how crazy. Like, I've literally got a Phillips screwdriver, and I am easily unbolting the fuel pump. Right, so they're all loose now, so let's get them out one by one, make sure we don't bloody drop them. Well, it's just a Phillips screw, don't really matter, does it? Before I fully unbolt that though, I'm gonna have to get these lines off, because otherwise it's gonna be impossible. At least now I've got some leverage on twisting them. Okay, so that bottom one literally just popped off super easy. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull the whole fuel pump off with this line attached, because there's no point in me trying to get that off because it's going straight in the bin. So let's pull the rest of the fuel pump off. I was a bit worried about how easy that line came off the rubber one at the bottom though, and that is super dry as well. So someone's probably going to be shouting at me, they're going at the comments going, it sucks it through, or it just there's another pump at the back. But I'm sorry guys, I'm learning, you know. Right, all the screws are off. Let's pull the fuel pump off. Oh, you bastard, there's a bloody electrical wire going around it. Right, for God's sake, that's so annoying. It could have just gone any other fucking way but that way. Wow. Okay, let's, all right, let me take off all the screws. Let's not lose them, and then I'll just peel it out from underneath. Let's break any wires. Everything's old as shit. What the hell is this? That's dry as anything in there, isn't it? That's not had fuel in there for... Does this pull out of the engine? That doesn't look like... Oh, that's just the top. I think I've got to get the side. That's the middle of the pump. I think I've got to get it off on the sides as well. EU. I don't know what those mean. I think... What? Can I blow through this? It's going to be horrible, but... Ooh. Right, that's like a one-way valve, isn't it? I have to blow bloody hard to get in that, though. I think it should be open. I think this is crap. I think that should be a one-way valve, and that's barely one-waying. Let's get the rest of it off, though. There's 2 bolts underneath. Okay, these bottom screws, they're actually a 12mm. They're a bit of a bastard to get, because I can't get, for some reason there's something blocking my spanner. I think it's the shape of it. I can't get them on there with a, not my socket, sorry. I can't, oh my god, what the hell? I can't get my 12mm 3/8 on there, but then I can't get my 1/4 inch in there either, because the, oh, hang on, oh, there we go. Okay, so while I'm getting this off, I'm just YouTubing how a mechanical fuel pump works.
Via a filter through this aperture here,
right,
through the one-way check valve.
So I'm gonna get this is off now. Right, so here is the mechanical fuel pump, which is out of the car now. This has got a ton of sealant on, so I think someone's been in here. To be honest, it's a ton of sealant around that bit as well. I'm not sure what the hell's going on. How have they got sealant in the middle of it? So I'm guessing this spacer thing was knock off. I'm not entirely sure, but there's a ton of sealant around here. Now what apparently happens is this goes into the engine and you have a cam lobe which touches on the end of this, and it does that, and that sucks the fuel through. Sucks the fuel through, and apparently it does that. Sucks the fuel through and blows it past. Now the guy that had one, he had to put his in a vise to do that. He couldn't just do it by hand. So, and also what we'll have to do is we'll have to suck, so it pushes air through there. It must open this, pull that open, air, fuel comes through, and then pushes it, bang. It must be like a pull and push. So pull through, bang, pull through, bang. But as I've done this is, that's fucking tough. I think this one-way valve isn't working. Okay, so let's kind of reenact what's going on. That's going to be closed like that, and then this is going to, I'm not feeling any suckage going on. I would expect that to be sucking, and I'm not getting any blowing. It's literally kids walking past the front right now. I think this is gone, so we're going to order a new one of these if I can bloody get one, and pray it's that, to be honest. Okay, so good news is you can actually buy these fuel pumps, and all the ones that are for sale are metal top. They're a bit of a different design. They're metal, not plastic like this, and they look different. It's the same part number, well, pretty much. It looks like the same part number. It matches up, and it's the only one, and there's quite a lot of them for sale. The only weird thing is the ones that I've seen for sale don't have this black spacer on. They don't have that. I don't necessarily know what the need for this black rubber spacer is. You can actually buy the black spacer. I've typed in fuel pump spacer and you can buy the spacer separately, but it doesn't necessarily say why it has a spacer. And if they're that important, or if this one has one, why do the other ones for sale not come with a spacer? So there's lots of questions here that I need to ask. The pumps aren't, well, they're about 40 or 50 quid, so they're not that bad, to be fair. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to join some Reliant pages and I'm going to ask before I order something, because I'm going to make sure A, I'm ordering the right fuel pump, and B, do I need to buy another one of these spacers, and C, do I even need these spacers? And also, some might point me in the direction of why these fail, or if they fail. I've read that there's one forum which says definitely go for a metal top, not one of these. So there's obviously some kind of downside to these plastic tops, and I'm guessing it's because they fail. So this is going to be the end of the video here. I'm actually not going to take apart the carb because I want to just get this first and make sure that is the issue, because we know for a fact it's not necessarily the carb that's the issue, because we know it runs with a bit of brake cleaner. Obviously we're going to have to set up the carb again, and we're going to have to set up the carb again and idle it and set the adjustments and stuff. We're going to have to do that, but I think that can wait for the time being, because I don't want to change something, break something, mess something up on the carb and then fix this, you know what I mean? I'm just going to do one thing at a time. So we're going to order a fuel pump, or speak to the Reliant pages and order a fuel pump, and hopefully that turns up fast, and hopefully we can get it running, back and running. Once it's running, we're going to have to set the carb up anyway, and in the future we'll probably rebuild the carb. So for now, let me go and join the pages. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you're enjoying this weird little series of me and the little Reliant. By the way, this name, the guy did give it a name, and apparently he's called Doug, so we're going to keep him. We're going to keep the name Doug. Normally I call them women, but that's fine. My first car that's called a guy.